Okay, I'm going to do a little review here. I'm going to call it the series called Products I Love. And I'm going to do that because I've got a few, it just seems like a natural thing for me to do. Hold on, let me turn the fan on. Because there's a few products I own that I just really love. They were, some combination of they were cheap, they're awesome, they really fit the role well. They, it can be my laptop, it can be whatever it may be that I have that I really love of a product. So I'm not just going to do a review, but this is going to be kind of a separate series, I guess. Not that it matters, but for products that I love, and this is one of them. It's the Ruger LCP pistol that I got. It's a concealed carry 380 pistol. I picked this up about just a couple of weeks ago. Well, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. At a local gun shop here that has good prices, and they had it on sale. I think it was normally like $229 at this gun shop. You can get it at Academy most of the time for $229. It'll go on sale for less than that. And the gun was $199 out. $199. It was on sale, like $30 less than usual. I mean, holy smokes, it's a great deal. It's a Ruger, so you kind of know it's decent quality at least. They're a good brand like Smith & Wesson or Colt. They're a good Sig Sauer. All good brands. Trying to think of some other big ones. Glock, obviously. So, what's the thing about this gun? Now, this gun, if you're a concealed carry guy like me, I don't have my concealed carry permit yet, but I'm about to get one finally. To me, I'm kind of always been obsessed with the idea of like the smallest firearm you can have, because to me, it's just all about like you gotta have one that you can carry and that you carry everywhere. Because too many people, I got a Glock, 27 or whatever, some big ass Glock, but they're not gonna freaking carry that anywhere. And I think half of them are lying, especially online. You'll find a lot of people saying this type of thing. And if they're not lying, then they're just dumb. And I've seen these guys on these message boards sometimes. They'll talk about like they literally carry like 3 guns. Like they'll have a double stack, they'll have a 357, then a backup small 9, then a backup like this size gun. I'm like, you people are fucking. Those people are nuts. Forget them. I don't know if they think people can't tell they're carrying, but unless they live in freaking Antarctica, people are gonna see you carrying 3 guns around, So there's a lot of nuts people out there, but to me, you need something you can carry easily, and I've never been able to really carry in like a holster or tried it. I don't know if it's just my body shape. I kind of got a belly. I got kind of a sway back, or I don't know what the heck the problem, so to speak, is, but to me it just seems like carrying, I've never really tried it, to be fair, but carrying inside a waistband or any kind of holster just seems like it would be a huge terrible hassle and just hurt, that thing, gun and holster digging in you. And I'm sure a lot of people would be like, oh no, it's so easy, blah blah blah, it's so easy, it doesn't, I don't know, maybe like I said, maybe it's just my particular body shape or something, or maybe I just don't know how to do it, or I don't know what it is, but forget that. For me, it's pretty much like, unless I was carrying into a situation where I really expected a problem, or expected there's a good chance problem, like, I don't know, I was going to, for whatever reason, a really bad neighborhood, or, I don't know, some guy was stalking me, and, if there's some situation where I actually thought there was a good chance of trouble, I could see carrying a bigger, like a Glock or something. But for something you're just going to carry every day, so to speak, you got to have something so small. And to me, this just fits the bill perfect. The Ruger LCP. This is the smallest, basically mainstream 380 you can get. I did all the research. There's several 380s that are similar size, but as far as I know, there is nothing smaller than this, really. Maybe there's something like a little tiny bit smaller, like maybe the North American Arms 380, I'm thinking, but I don't even think that. And another big thing is weight. This thing, I did all the research. This thing Weighs like 9.6 ounces, I believe, or 9.4 ounces actually. I think is the exact unloaded weight. 9.4 ounces. Nothing else comes close. Now, like there's the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. It's somewhat similar in size to this, but a little blockier and bigger. Small still, but it weighs like 12.2 ounces, I believe, unloaded. That's a big difference to me. You're talking about 3 ounces right off the bat, you know. And then you got to add some weight for the 6 rounds of ammo. This gun is unloaded in the chamber, by the way. And I guess that's a thing on YouTube videos. I always like to show everybody it's unloaded. I do have 6 in the mag here. I weighed like 6 or 7, I don't remember which rounds, the other day on my little kitchen food scale that weighs by ounces, and I think it came in right at 2.4 ounces, I believe it was. So you got to add that. So add 2.4 at least. That's for, I don't remember if that's for 6 or 7 rounds. 7 rounds would obviously be even a little more. So let's say add 2.4 ounces at least to the 12.2 of the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. You're looking at 14.6 ounces or something like that. You're looking at close to a pound of there. I mean, that's pretty heavy. So to me, every freaking ounce counts. Now this would be what, 12.6 or something, or 12.8, which is still a little heavy, you know. So my thing is every ounce counts, and this, like I said, this is definitely like the lightest 380 I've seen. Even like the Bodyguard, the Ruger TCP, I mean the Taurus TCP. I didn't do a lot of research on the Taurus because I just wouldn't choose the Taurus just because of their brand reputation. When you can get a Ruger or Smith & Wesson for basically the same price. I mean, you can get a Bodyguard right now for right around $200, $230 as well with rebates. And if you're willing to buy online, because it might be more like $300 in a store, but if you're willing to buy online, you can get a lot lower prices on most guns. Some of them kind of a floor, like you're not going to get this Ruger for much less than $199. But something like a Bodyguard, Smith & Wesson Bodyguard might be like $329 at Academy. You could go online and get it after rebates. Smith & Wesson's got rebates going on right now for probably $199, you know, in the case of the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. But I did all the research in the Bodyguard. Like I said, nothing is as light as this, as small overall as this. I'm trying to think, what are the other main 380s? There's the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. Beretta makes one that's not very popular called the Pico or the Nano. I forget which one. I think it might be called the Nano because that seems smaller than Pico. I don't know. Actually, I believe Pico's smaller than Nano. Whatever, their small 9 is called the Nano or something, and their little 380 is called the Pico, I think it is. Something like that. It's ugly as shit and blocky, bigger, heavier. And plus, the main thing is, it's kind of weird, but I kind of put a large premium on which one sells the most. Or not a large premium, but I figured this Ruger LCP, this thing has sold millions and millions, very popular. So many people have had it, that every possible problem with it has been found, and Ruger surely made little iterations to it in the manufacturing to make it more reliable. So I figure by now, because it's several years old, you're getting they've got the max reliability worked out for the most part. Whereas if you buy something like a Taurus TCP, or a Beretta, the Beretta, how many people are buying a Beretta? Or another one I looked at was a Remington RM380. You never hear about the Remington RM380. Its sales are probably 5% of the LCP sales. So Ruger doesn't get enough data to know, how reliable it is, what the problems are, you know what I mean? I just don't trust guns like that. Anything that's kind of a niche. Same thing for some of the car guns to some extent, even like the car CW380. Not that popular. You're not going to walk into your Academy and find a car CW380. I don't believe, anyway. So selling so much less with those, other guns kind of plays against them to me. I'd rather have something that's mainstream, that I know all the problems, or people know everything about this gun. That millions and millions and millions of Ruger LCPs have been sold over many years. So Ruger, got a lot of them back for malfunctions or whatever. Probably made some minor manufacturing changes to make them more reliable. And so by now, I figure this design and this gun is fully tested and vetted, so to speak. Now, the thing about pocket 380s is they have reliability issues, period, because, well, I don't know, I've never read this before or since, and people might get mad at me for saying it, but I read somewhere that the 380 is just inherently a less reliable cartridge because it's not as powerful and doesn't have enough force to blow the slide back, so to speak. And it seems definitely to be the case to me. because it seems like most 9mm are buying, even the really tiny ones, which they don't get near as small as this, of course, but even the tiny 9mm seem pretty dang reliable, whereas a lot of these little 380s have issues. So I think a lot of it is just the 380 round, but regardless, I trust this one pretty well. I did a lot of research, like I said. Yes, pocket 380s inherently have problems, and you will find a lot of problems with these. But I can say that, especially for the amount sold, there's less online complaining and less online problems with these Ruger LCPs than any other model I found. Even ones that sell a lot less. Like I looked into the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. You go on a forum about the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, you're going to find a whole bunch of complaints and threads about light strikes. I don't know why, something in the design, but it has a huge problem with light strikes. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguard does, and you don't want that in a defense gun, you know. Now, granted, you may get one that's fine and so on, but it still seems an inherent design flaw for whatever reason in the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. The LCP, you know, you'll find problems, but it's not like you won't find consistent light strike problems. You know, it doesn't seem to be an inherent design flaw. And the Bodyguard, another thing about it is, the funny thing about the Bodyguard is they tout their double strike capability. Like if you have a light strike, you can just cycle the double action trigger on the Bodyguard and it'll strike it again. I think that's funny since it seems to have a big problem with light strikes. So they're like, oh yeah, you can, if you get a light strike, you can just double cock it. But they don't tell you, oh hey, we're known for light striking. But anyways, so yeah, that's just some of the thought process that went into it. Oh, there's a new model of this called the LCP2. I could touch on that. It has a much nicer trigger, and some people might say it looks better. I don't know. To me, it's a little bigger. It's also a little heavier. It comes in at 10.6 ounces, so it's like 1.2 ounces more than this. Still very small and light. The LCP2 I'm talking about now. LCP2 looks to me like a baby Glock, and a few reasons I didn't get the LCP2. If they were the same price, I might have. But the LCP2 seems to be going for about $280, $300 right now, whereas this is like $200. So you're talking like almost another $100. I didn't feel like it was worth it. And there's some other things. The LCP2. Remember what I was talking earlier about how this one they worked the kinks out. The LCP2 they haven't really. It's new. They haven't had time, you know. And yeah, you do hear some problems with the LCP2. I would still trust it. It seems pretty reliable, but I would think this is more reliable because it's been sold for years and years, and LCP2 is new, you know. And it seems to have more issues, the LCP2, based on just, you know, YouTube videos of people saying theirs doesn't work right and things like that, which is very unscientific, but I think it kind of is scientific in a way, you know. You know, if you take an overall picture of forums, YouTube videos, every place people talk about a gun, and you see a high volume of complaints about a certain gun and a lesser volume about another gun, I think it's a good bet the other gun's more reliable. You know, and I saw less, especially considering how many more are sold. You know, if you sold 10 million of these and you get 100,000 online complaints, that's a whole lot better than a gun that sold only 1 million and gets 100,000 online complaints, you know. So some of these guns that probably don't sell nearly as much, I saw like more online complaints in the LCP, you know, which is probably selling 10 times as much as a lot of these guns. So what does that tell you? Yeah, I didn't get the LCP mostly because it's $100 more. And there's on the forums, this did kind of strike me a little bit that some of them don't think it's safe because it's it's basically a single action trigger on the LCP2. This is kind of a double action, but they were saying like you're basically carrying a cocked, and if you're familiar with a cocked and locked government model, you're carrying a cocked and locked gun, but there's no lock. You know, it has no external safety, the LCP2, and the trigger's kind of light. And you just, you know, if you're pocket carrying and concealed carrying, most people carry with around the chamber. So you're carrying a cocked around in the chamber firearm, but you have no safety. And you know, you can go back and forth. Some people think it's not a problem. Some people think it is. I kind of, you know, I don't know. I could kind of see it being a problem. The thing that bugs me more than anything is just the fact that hammer is just sitting there, and somebody said something like, I don't know much about the internal workings of guns, but like the only thing holding that hammer back is the trigger sear or whatever, hammer seat or something like that. So the more I thought about that, like I don't so much think that the trigger is accidentally going to get pulled, But like, what if that little sear or whatever internal piece ever, you know, it's 1 in a million chance, but what if it ever slipped or something and your hammer just dropped and it shot you in the leg, you know? That's what bothers me more than worrying about an accidental trigger pull or anything like that. Is, you know, they said there's only one little piece of metal holding the hammer back in the LCP2. I don't know if that's true or what, but so this one about the trigger, a lot of people bitch about the trigger. There's so much whining on the internet. It's not bad at all. It's kind of a double action trigger. If you look, you can see in the back that it seems to be cocking the hammer about like 20% or like yeah, about 20% when you rack the slide, and then you do the rest of it with the trigger. So you're probably, it's like 80% of a double action pull. Whereas the LCP2 is kind of the opposite. To me, it looks like, I've seen videos, it's cocking the hammer about 80% of the way when you rack the slide, and then you're doing the final 20% with your trigger pull on the LCP2. This one is more like 80% double action, you know. You can see when you cock it, you can actually see in there that the hammer is like a little cocked, but like I said, probably like 20%, and then you're doing the rest with your pull. It feels basically a little bit like a double action revolver, maybe a little less. I don't mind it, and I can shoot fast with it. I've only shot a couple mags through it, but the second one I really let her rip, and it was shooting fast. You know, the trigger's not a detriment to you really dropping some lead, you know. Yeah, I should mention that I've only put 2 mags through, but it functioned flawlessly on those 2 mags and 2 other rounds. I mean, technically, literally exactly 14 rounds. I put 2 6-round mags and 2 other rounds through, for whatever random reason so far. Just because I haven't taken it out to like a range, just shot it into a dirt bank for a, you know, I didn't take it out to a proper range. So yeah, but yeah, on those rounds it functioned flawlessly, and it's so neat. It's very powerful. Now there's people who say 380 is not enough for defense. Get out of here, you know. You want to get shot with one of these, and like I said, I was able to put 6 rounds into the bank so fast, you know, target, pow, 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 pow. You know, 6 rounds it dumped into you if you were assaulting me. Ooh boy, you wouldn't. I don't care. Sometimes I worry about like the case of if you were getting assaulted by a big burly muscle bound, you know, leather jacket wearing 280-pound big arms guy, you know, big chest. Well, I don't know, maybe 1 bullet from this might not do it, but you know, 6 into his chest area, he gonna feel that, let me tell you. I don't give a fuck. So yeah, and you know, it's loud. And another thing, it's loud. It's not bad to shoot. God, people are such babies about like trigger pull, and you know, it's not, the trigger pull on any gun. I'm just saying LCP. Trigger is not bad. It's not bad to shoot. You know, stop being a baby. I mean, yes, of course it's loud and recoils. That's because it's a little tiny 380. Let me go ahead and rack the slide here. It does have a slide stop, but it doesn't have a slide lock back when you're shooting like the LCP2, but I don't care too much. Yeah, it's incredibly light, small, fits in your pocket easy, perfect carry gun. $199, I love it. Drop the slide. Here's an example of the trigger. Basically double action trigger. Oh, okay, I want to talk about the one little niggling issue I had with this. When I bought it, you put the mag in, especially if it's loaded, you catch a hitch right there where it's hitting the magazine release catch. See, if you press it in a little, it goes in. Now you can just kind of jam it in and it will go in. But it's a little hitch, it's a little bit of a rough reload there, you know, like if you just jam it a little, it'll go, you know, if you do it in one fast motion. But it's a little hitch, and it was a little worse when I first got the gun. So that kind of bugged me. I was even thinking about, oh, maybe I should send it back to the factory. Well, and I brought it to my dad, and I was at, you know, when we were shooting it, and I asked him the one day that I put 2 mags through it, and I asked him about it, and he was just like, you know, scoffing at it, like, are you serious? Like, big deal. And he's the guy who shot for 40 years, and you know, he's probably shot 20 million rounds through firearms in his life. So, I mean, I trust his judgment or whatever. He was like, no, it's not a big deal. It's just catch on the magazine really so little. And I think it's gotten better over time while that's still there. It's a little annoying, just makes the reload not real smooth. But, like I said, if you were in a heated situation and you just jam it in there quick, you know, it's not a problem. It's just, if you go slow, you'll feel, you feel that catch. It has another little catch, which I guess is normal at the bottom. Like, see if I go slow, like, see there, it didn't even want to. See, now it doesn't even. You have to really jam it. But that's only if you go real slow like this. If you just jam the magazine in like that, it's no issue. Actually, that one I didn't even put much force on, and it went in no problem. But yeah, so I did want to mention that little magazine catch issue, quote unquote. But I think it kind of wears down a little bit and stuff. It won't be as much of a problem. It's really not a problem as it is. It's just a little thing. What do you expect for a $199 gun, I guess? But yeah, I love this gun. So tiny, so easy to carry. Now, it's not like a panacea to me. It's still a little big. I mean, it's the smallest reasonable defense gun you're going to get, so I can't knock it for that. Even having said that, it's a little big in your pocket, But I did carry this one day over some apartment, my brother and sister's apartment, and they didn't even notice I had it. I didn't choose to tell them for whatever reason. You wouldn't even notice. It's just like a wallet or a cell phone or anything else. So that's I wanted to mention one little issue I have with it. It only comes with one mag, for what that's worth. I would have liked another one, especially because I've been looking around for a second mag for it, and well, they do give you 2 base plates, which is kind of weird. Like, you can get this base plate, which I guess gives your finger a little more grip here, or you can actually, they send you a second base plate. You can slide this one off and put a one that makes it flush with the gun. I don't really care either way. It would make the gun a little smaller, I guess. And this one just kind of lets you get the second finger all the way on for a little better grip. I don't care either way. This one was on the default, so I just left it. But they gave you another flat base plate in the box it came with. Yeah, one issue though is the magazine. I would recommend, especially for this being a self-defense gun, you want to stick with the original Ruger magazine, because the problem with third-party magazines, as far as I know anyways, is you never know what kind of quality you're going to get, Okay, like if it's a well-known brand like Magpul makes AR mags, of course everybody uses Magpul mags. Actually, I think most of the manufacturers may include Magpul mags, so it's a little different there. So if it's a case of Magpul or something, but like this thing, I went to Academy, and their regular Ruger OEM, so-called, basically the official factory magazine that is $34.99. That's a lot. That's close to $40 after tax. And I'm just not feeling like spending that right now. I probably will one day, but $40 basically. I mean, the gun was only $200. $40 for an extra mag. It's a steep pill to swallow. Now, and they had some off-brand. I think it was Pro Mag or something at Academy, LCP mags for $14.99. But being a savvy shopper that I am, I Googled the reviews on my phone, and the reviews on that are pretty poor. If you go on the website, people are like, oh, this, some of them say, oh, this mag's fine, but a fair percent are like, this mag's junk, it jams all the time, the blah blah blah, this was defective, that was defective on this magazine, these mags are junk, don't buy. So I was warned, I wouldn't, especially on a self-defense gun. I mean, if you got a plinking 22, okay, buy a cheap mag, and if it works, great. But on all things, the gun you're supposedly trusting your life to, I would buy the official mags, spend the extra. So that's why I wouldn't buy the $15 Pro mag at Academy for this. And I would only buy the official Ruger mag, unless, like I say, Magpul or somebody makes one. I don't know, I didn't look, but. And the official Ruger mag is unfortunately about $40, after tax. So that's a little disappointing. But so I haven't picked up a second mag for it just yet, but I probably will eventually. Also, it did come with this little pocket holster, which is kind of annoying to me, because the weird thing is, I think it's just a normal pocket holster, so it's not knocking this particular holster. Now, this is kind of a good value, because you figure even if you go to Academy, a little holster like this will run you at least $14.99. It sounds like nothing but $15. You're getting a $15 item, on a $199 gun thrown in free, now you don't have to buy this, And, yeah, so that's pretty cool. But I mean, I think it's just my pants pockets, but it doesn't do what I want because it's not quite. I guess this part isn't long enough. The gun will still tend to like move around and start to fall a little bit in my pocket. And I have that problem with all pocket holsters I've used so far. I'm looking for the perfect one for me, so to speak. But this one just doesn't quite entirely fill up your pocket, so it doesn't stop the gun. It doesn't hold the gun straight up perfectly. You know, it mainly does the job, but the gun still kind of shifts around too much for my liking and stuff. Like I said, I just need this needs to be about like a ½ inch to an inch wider, maybe a ½ inch wider, like come out to here for it to be to my liking. Because I guess my pockets are just too wide or something. But like I said, it's not really the fault of this mag because they're all designed this way that I can tell. The normal ones, they're all about this size. You know, I have been looking at some other ones, but like anything else, the one I want is probably $30-40. Or I don't even know if I want it yet. You know, I'm trying to figure out what exactly would work perfectly. But this will do for, decent pocket holster. And yeah, that's it. Ruger LCP. Love it. Super smooth, reliable, super small. $199. I wouldn't shoot. One thing, I would not shoot this gun a lot because to me that's what I would do. I'd put like a few mags through it, and then next time I shoot it, I've got some old 380 ammo I plan to run through it, and it's like 20-30 rounds of real old stuff. Because I used to own the Kel-Tec version of this, the Kel-Tec P3AT, which was before this, before they even had this. Not only was that gun ugly, it didn't have this nice look to it that Ruger puts. It had a very rough, cheap Kel-Tec look, but another big problem with that Kel-Tec is they were notorious for being unreliable, and I can vouch for that. The one I had would jam up every like third shot or so. I mean, it just would. I mean, I think it worked okay for first few mags, and then it developed this problem where like literally every second or third round it would jam. And I never got around to sending it back to Kel-Tec. I literally just sat in my closet for like probably 8 years or something stupid, and I kept thinking I should send that back to Kel-Tec and get it repaired under warranty. And never did. And eventually I just sold it at a gun show for like $100 one time. So yeah. But this one, it seems like they work the kinks out and it's reliable. And it's Ruger quality. And, I wouldn't trust it to be perfectly reliable because all pocket 380s have problems. But, like I said, I would not take this to the range and shoot thousands of rounds for it. I believe Ruger doesn't recommend that. It's just not smart. This little gun will get too beat up, shoot a mag here and there to ensure it's functioning, and then carry it. Don't take this to the range and shoot 1,000 rounds through it in a day, or I would shoot 50 mags or something. And that so far I've shot 2 mags. Next time I go to the range, I might shoot another 30 rounds, just however much of that old ammo I have. Kind of a cycling out the old stuff type of thing because I bought a new box of 50. Yeah, so just my little philosophy, don't take this to the range and shoot it a lot. It's probably going to break, little pieces in there if you shoot it too much, in my opinion. Not that it won't work, but, you don't want to put 10,000 rounds through. It's not a range gun. It's not an AR. Yeah, my Ruger AR, I'll take that. And funny thing, I was thinking, like, I got 2 Rugers now, and I'm seriously thinking about buying another one. Out of my 5 guns, let's see, my other one's a Glock, and then I have a North American Arms little mini revolver. And I'm like, am I like a Ruger fanboy? Like, I totally promise I didn't even think about it or plan it that way, but it's like, I keep ending up with Rugers. Whatever they're doing, they're targeting what I want in guns, Like, their AR is good quality, and it's pretty cheap, so I bought their Ruger AR, It was between them and Smith & Wesson. Kind of wish I'd have bought the Smith & Wesson now because I like the look of it a little better. And speaking of the AR, but I'm happy with my Ruger. But yeah, you can. AR is a big, hefty rifle. Go take it and shoot it to range 10,000 rounds. Don't shoot this 10,000 rounds. The AR is made for shooting 10,000 rounds or 22 or whatever. Oh, and I was gonna make a little note about how people will say 380 is not enough for self-defense. I was reading about this killing that happened here like 10 years ago. Just a weird thing I got on this beach I used to go to when I was like a teenager, and I was researching because it just came to my mind, and I was like, is that beach still around? And I go, and apparently it had been closed. One reason it had been closed because somebody had been taken out there and execution style shot. This sounds like stuff out of a TV show. It's crazy. And the kids from the local high school were coming out there and looking at it. The body for like 3 days, and they actually passed a law. It was when they first passed a law saying like to see a body and not report it to the police is crime now, because at that time it wasn't. And all these kids from the local high school were going out there and taking a look at this dead body for like 3-4 days, and none of them reported it. All that was just like, hey, I wonder whatever happened to that beach I used to go to, And I just Googled it or whatever and found out all this crazy stuff about it. Like there'd been this execution murder done by like high school kids, basically. And then all the high school kids went out there and looked at the bio. Now all this crazy stuff, I never expected any of it. I was just going to find out whatever happened to that old beach I used to go to that I hadn't heard of in forever. And but the one thing the point of it for this is reading about all the details of this murder, is an execution style murder. They took a guy out there, they wanted to rob him or whatever. They took a guy, they robbed him, they took him to the ATM, got like $500 for him, something stupid from him. But they took him out there and they executed him, so to speak. There's 3 or 4 of them, and one of them was a girl, but one of them was one of them's girlfriend. But there's kind of mentioned in the police notes, because the killer I think got executed and so on and so forth. But it was mentioned that I just happened across in the reports of the crime at the time, because this was like 2009 or something. He was executed with a 22. You can kill people easy with a 22, a fucking 22, And people bitch about the 380 not being powerful enough. Give me a break. I get it. I would want something more too, all things equal, but I think it's so overblown. People who think that 380 is just garbage or something. This will kill you. This will kill you easy. A fucking 22 will kill you dead. Not to say that it always will or anything like that, but yeah. I just think the whole, I need a 357 Magnum or nothing thing is so overblown. Kind of getting off topic here, but to me, I always want to go on those message boards. There's always somebody. There's always that guy on the message board. If there's a thread about mouse guns, he'll come in there like, oh, I wouldn't carry anything less than a 45 ACP. And I always want to be like trying to one up them and pretend I'm this guy. I don't really think this way, but pretend I'm like, oh, I would never carry a pistol for defense. If you can't carry your AR, just don't fucking bother. Because, the guys who are always bitching about the mouse guns, they'll say like, oh, you shoot the bad guy with that, it'll just make him mad and stuff like that. I want to be like, yeah, you shoot him with your little 45 and he's just going to get mad. I wouldn't even bother with anything less than a 308 rifle, I would love to just troll, go on message boards and be that guy who's like, 45 ACP, that's a wimpy piece of shit. I wouldn't carry that. Just to show them how stupid their logic is. I would carry nothing less than a 10-inch barrel, 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum if I just had to use a handgun. But really, I wouldn't use a handgun. If I can't make it to my truck and get my rifle, I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to use a rock or a sharp stick, I'd love to that's what I always want to do so bad when I run across those random forum dudes talking about, it's funny for the North American media. I read this one, somebody was like, first thing I'd do with that gun is file down the front sight, because when the bad guy figures out you done shot him, first thing he's going to do is shove it up your nose hole. And if you file down the front sight, it'll hurt less. Which I gotta admit was a hilarious line, but yeah, you always get that guy. But I think it's so overblown. I think 380 is plenty. Like I said, ideally, would you want something more? Yes, but yeah, Ruger LCP, great product. Like I said, I've only shot 2 mags to it, but they function flawless, no problem. And the second one, I really hammered that trigger. I was like, pow, 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 pow. I shot as fast as I could, and no problems. Yeah, very slim, light, pretty, safe because it's got the double action trigger. Super, and $199 out the door. You cannot beat that. So highly recommended, Ruger LCP.